All right, buckle up because this is about to get wild. You know that moment when someone says, "Hold on, let's do this"? Yeah, that's exactly how this whole mess started. He pointed out white people outside, okay? But if they were out there, why didn't they call 911, huh? Who actually picked up that phone? Hold everything right there, because what we've just uncovered, this isn't courtroom material. This is straight-up horror movie material. Reggie Carroll, the comedian who had us rolling with laughter, now the reason his fans are crying in the streets at his viewing. His mother let out a scream that'll haunt you forever, collapsing in agony. Fans gathered outside the courthouse, lighting candles and chanting justice for Reggie. But guess what? Tonight, the internet just exploded thanks to a leaked video that turned everything upside down. And here's where it gets crazy. The footage is a complete disaster. Wrong dates. Check cameras set up like they're filming a documentary. Double check. And wait for it. The most crucial part, the gunshot. It's MIA. How does the only piece of evidence that actually matters vanish? Now hold on tight. Because in the midst of all this madness, Too Tall, the bodyguard accused of pulling the trigger, casually drops 3 words that stop the internet dead in its tracks. I called Katt the chaos. Streets are divided. Hashtags are fighting it out. Hashtag justice for Reggie versus hashtag free Katt. Protesters outside the courthouse, Twitter ablaze with wild theories. So here's the million-dollar question. Was this justice, or is this all a scripted play to save Katt Williams and silence Reggie for good? If Katt wasn't the mastermind, then who was behind the curtain pulling the strings? Let's rewind, people. Let's tear this circus down to the basics. Because before the hashtags, before the candlelight vigils, and before Twitter turned into a battleground, there was one thing hanging in the air like an unanswered question. Who really killed Reggie Carroll? Let me set the stage. Reggie Carroll wasn't just some comedian. He was a ... This is the story of a firecracker waiting to explode. Reggie Carroll wasn't just any comedian. He was the Baltimore Bullet, hitting harder than a shotgun with every punchline. He was on the edge of stardom, finally getting the recognition he deserved. This guy was about to ride the fame wave, opening for none other than Katt Williams on the Heaven on Earth tour. Think about that. Reggie, the underdog, about to share the stage with the Chaos King himself. This was his moment, the one he had worked his entire life for. But instead of standing ovations and roaring laughter, Reggie's story ended with blood on the ground, the official version. A heated argument with Katt Williams' security guard, Too Tall. The fight escalated. A shotgun was involved. And just like that, Reggie was gone. Case closed. Move along, nothing to see here, right? Wrong. Because when you start peeling back the shiny police report, you realize the cracks in this story are so wide, you could drive a tour bus through them. Let's break it down. The video. Yep, the so-called smoking gun that dropped like a bomb on No Jumper. To shaky clips. Reggie yelling at Too Tall, chaos in the air. And at first you're thinking, wow, Reggie really lost it. But then, oh boy. The details start crawling out like cockroaches when you flip on the kitchen light dot. First up, the time stamp. We're told the altercation went down on August 20th. But the video proudly flashes June 29th, 10:08 p.m. What is this? Back to the Future Part 5. Unless Reggie had a time machine, that date makes 0 sense. But it gets juicier. The cameras. Yep, cameras plural. A tripod set up neatly by the door. Another angle, a GoPro strapped to someone's head. Wait, what? In the middle of a heated altercation, Too Tall had time to set up an influencer kit. What is this, a reality show gone wrong? The questions just keep piling up in the middle of an armed altercation. Too Tall somehow had the time to set up his influencer kit. What is this, a reality show gone horribly wrong? Or was this all part of a well-rehearsed staged production? And then, the line that split the internet wide open. I called Katt. Hold up, rewind, play it again. I called Katt. You're telling me that while Reggie was allegedly going off like a pit bull, Too Tall took a pause from the chaos to ring up his boss? What kind of security guard does that? You call 911, you call for backup. You don't call your comedian employer like it's some casual HR issue. Unless you don't move without permission. Unless the whole damn thing was greenlit from above. Suddenly, Too Tall isn't the mastermind. He's the pawn, the muscle, the fall guy. And behind him, a hand pulling the strings. A hand with manicured nails, diamond rings, and a reputation for roasting Hollywood alive. That hand, Katt Williams. But wait, before we dive even deeper, let's talk about what's not in the video, because what's missing is way more damning than what's actually there. The gunshot the moment that ended Reggie's life conveniently vanished. What kind of evidence skips the climax? It's like watching Titanic with no iceberg. This wasn't sloppy. This was deliberate. A narrative crafted frame by frame. And here comes the real bombshell. A leaked police memo hidden from the public eye surfaced online last week. The words were blurred, redacted, covered in black ink, but one line slipped through like a ghost. Do not implicate KW initials. KW, not Kenneth Wilson, not Kevin White. KW stands for Katt Williams. Now ask yourself, if Katt wasn't involved in this mess, why the hell would his initials show up in a confidential report? But hold on, it gets even darker. Let's talk about the real cost of this. While we're out here dissecting timestamps and camera angles, there's a family drowning in grief. At Reggie's viewing, his mother's cries were so loud they could be heard outside the chapel. Witnesses say she collapsed over his casket, clutching his suit, begging him to wake up. One fan screamed, "This was murder." And the crowd outside erupted, chanting Reggie's name like a protest anthem. That's not closure. That's chaos. That's heartbreak turned into rage. And rage. Rage spreads like wildfire. Twitter caught it in seconds. Hashtag Justice for Reggie started trending within hours. TikTok flooded with edits, splicing Reggie's old stand-up clips with slow-motion footage of the leaked video. One caption hit hard. He made us laugh. They made him bleed. 2 million views in less than a day. But there was another hashtag. Hashtag Free Katt. While half the internet was demanding justice, the other half was defending their Chaos King. His fans screamed "set up," claiming Reggie was the aggressor. They said the video was proof that Too Tall acted in self-defense.
The internet froze the frame, enhanced it, zoomed in, compared it to stand-up specials, paparazzi shots, and interviews. And the consensus? 90% of people were convinced it was Katt Williams himself. Now think about that. The official story said Katt Williams wasn't even there. But if this grainy SUV footage is real, then the entire narrative crumbles. The official story said Katt Williams wasn't even there, that this was a separate incident between Reggie and Too Tall, that Katt had nothing to do with it. But what if that grainy SUV footage is real? Then, the Chaos King was there the whole time, lurking in the shadows, watching the downfall unfold like it was one of his own comedy bits. And if he was there, well, then the entire narrative collapses. The police reports, the DA's statement, the PR spin, it all falls apart. Fans reacted like gasoline on an open flame. TikTok edits exploded, putting Katt Williams' old comedy routine side by side with the SUV footage. One caption read, "He told us he was always watching." One clip? It hit 5 million views overnight. Meanwhile, reporters started sniffing around. Why hadn't the police mentioned the SUV? Why hadn't any neighbors reported seeing it? And most importantly, why were there no official 911 calls logged from any witnesses? Remember that anonymous email? Turns out they were right. The leasing office call logs did show a 911 call. But it didn't come from a neighbor. It came from the office, which means someone inside the property management system made the call after the fact, not in real time. Translation, they wanted to control the timeline. They wanted to control the story. And who benefits from controlling the story? The man whose initials were scribbled in that redacted memo, KW. At this point, the scandal was no longer just about Reggie's death. It had metastasized into something far, far bigger. Talk shows started debating whether Hollywood was hiding a conspiracy. YouTube exploded with deep dives into Katt Williams' past. Old interviews resurfaced, where he ranted about Hollywood elites and contracts signed in blood. Clips that once seemed like random, manic rants were now dissected like confessions. And while all this unfolded, Reggie's family broke their silence. His brother went live on Instagram, tears streaming down his face. Reggie told me 2 weeks before he died that he was being followed. He said, if something happens, it won't be random. It won't be Katt's bodyguard. It'll be Katt himself. That clip, it shattered the internet. Within hours, it was reposted across every platform. Twitter went nuclear. Instagram drowned in candle emojis. Fans painted murals of Reggie with the words, silenced but not forgotten. Silenced but not forgotten. And then the streets erupted. In Atlanta, protesters blocked traffic chanting, "Lock up Katt. Lock up Katt." In LA, rival groups clashed, Team Reggie versus Team Katt. Police and riot gear were called in as smoke bombs and fists filled the air. News anchors struggled to find the right words, calling it the most divisive Hollywood scandal in decades. Meanwhile, the FBI issued a chilling statement. This remains an active investigation, but the leaks told a different story. An alleged internal memo surfaced on Reddit reading, "Primary suspect neutralized." Then, an anonymous hacker collective with masked avatars and glitchy voices uploaded a file they called the Carroll tapes. Inside, recordings of phone calls between Too Tall and an unnamed boss. In one clip, a voice eerily similar to Too Tall's says, "He's getting too loud. Orders are orders. The internet went feral. Was it real? Was it AI? Did it even matter?" Because perception became reality, and the perception was clear. Katt Williams wasn't just caught in the storm. He was the storm. By the end of the week, stock prices of companies tied to Onyx Owl dipped. Sponsors pulled ads from Katt Williams shows. Comedy clubs canceled bookings. The Chaos King's empire wasn't cracking from the outside. It was cracking from within. And yet, through it all, one haunting fact remained. The actual footage of the shooting, the one piece of evidence that could end the debate once and for all, still hadn't surfaced. Why? Because maybe, just maybe, the man who controlled the cameras controlled the truth. The fire was already out of control, but what happened next turned the scandal into an inferno. Just when people thought they had seen it all, the video leaks, the SUV footage, the hacker files, another twist hit the internet like a meteor. A new clip surfaced. Not from No Jumper, not from bloggers. This one came from an anonymous Dropbox link, sent to every major gossip outlet at the same time. 30 seconds of shaky cell phone footage, allegedly filmed inside a hotel room just days before Reggie's death. In the video, Too Tall can be seen pacing nervously, phone pressed to his ear. His words are clear as day. "Yeah, Katt. I told you he's getting out of line. If I do this, I want protection. You hear me? Protection." The internet stopped breathing. Because if that clip was real, it was no longer speculation. It was confirmation. Too Tall wasn't acting on impulse. He was taking orders. Fans lost their minds. TikTok edits looped the word Katt with eerie background music. Twitter trended Katt called it. Instagram drowned in posts screaming, "This is the smoking gun." But the chaos didn't stop there. Hours after the video dropped, Reggie's own cousin went live on Facebook, holding back tears. Reggie told me a week before he died, he said, "If anything happens, don't believe what they say. Katt behind it." The stream cut off mid-sentence, but by then, the damage was done. While fans were rioting online, Hollywood was panicking offline. Comedy club owners canceled Katt Williams' shows. Sponsors pulled their ads, quietly pulled funding. Industry insiders whispered that contracts were being shredded in back rooms. Even Katt Williams' so-called friends ghosted him on social media, deleting photos pretending they'd never laughed in his presence. Meanwhile, outside the courthouse, the streets looked like a war zone. Protesters carried signs with Reggie's face, painted like a martyr, while others carried banners reading, "Free Katt" in blood-red spray paint. Police sirens blared. Helicopters circled overhead. Tear gas clouded the night sky. Reporters screamed into cameras. This wasn't just a scandal anymore. It was a movement. And the government, silent, no official statement. No new evidence. Just the sound of doors slamming shut and files being sealed tighter than Fort Knox. But silence speaks louder than words. And people weren't buying it. Then, the bombshell dropped. A leaked memo posted on Reddit, shared across Discord, screenshotted 1,000,000 times before it vanished. The document? Stamped with the FBI's red and chilling black ink. Primary objective, protect KW at all costs. Narrative must remain intact. Neutralize dissent. Neutralize dissent. 3 words that turned the internet into a battlefield. People flooded Twitter with one question. Neutralize who? Reggie? His family? Anyone who dared to speak? And suddenly, it all clicked. The wrong date on the video. The missing gunfire. The first call going to Onyx Owl LLC. The mysterious SUV. Too Tall's bank deposit. The cousin's warning. The hotel room tape. The FBI memo. It wasn't chaos. It wasn't coincidence. It was a cover-up. By now, Katt Williams wasn't just a comedian. He was a symbol, the face of Hollywood's darkest secrets. Some, he was the mastermind who ordered Reggie Carroll's death. To others, he was the fall guy in a conspiracy bigger than anyone could imagine. But one truth was undeniable. Reggie was gone. His fans were mourning. His family was screaming for justice. And the man standing in the middle of it all? Katt Williams, as night fell. Protesters lit candles outside Reggie's old comedy club, chanting his name, holding signs that read, "Truth never dies." At the same time, Katt Williams fans lit fireworks in Atlanta, screaming, "Free Katt!" 2 realities, 2 narratives, colliding like tectonic plates. And through it all, the internet replayed Too Tall's words on loop. Yeah, Katt, so here's the question you can't ignore. Was this really self-defense? Was Too Tall just a bodyguard caught in the moment? Or was he following orders from the Chaos King himself? Because if this was Katt Williams' chessboard, then Reggie wasn't just a victim. He was a sacrifice. And if Hollywood can bury one comedian with lies and cover-ups, then who's next? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because this isn't the end. This is the beginning of a war between truth and power. Like this video if you believe the truth is finally breaking through. Share it so more people know what's really happening behind Hollywood's closed doors. And subscribe, because the next leak could blow this entire conspiracy wide open. Stay locked.